Okay, hopefully the volume of my voice is loud enough for you guys to hear, but so for the starter for my Minerva deck, I run Vivid Rabbit for the grade 3 search. It's to try to hit your cross ride more consistently. Also, it's the guaranteed 1 to soul. Unless you're like my friend who plays Eradicators and lynches it like every time I go second. So I can't use its skill, but yeah, I kind of like it. I don't care for the new starter because it only works at grade 3. I'll probably run something else like, I don't know, Cable Sheep, if anything. Just to drop a grade 3 for, that door might get annoying.
Yeah, it's gonna get annoying. It keeps opening and closing on itself.
Yeah, the draw and drop to drop like your extra grade 3s to use Ordain Owl. And then trigger lineup, 4 crit, well,
A little bit higher.
4 of those crit, 4 of those crit, 4 of those crit, because standing Vanguard is stacking crits all day is pretty great. And then the 4 heal is to go easily. For the grade 1 lineup, I'm only running 2 orange witches. It's because if you see my build, I don't over soul charge. I get just enough to use the skill. So that's pretty much the intent with my lineup. It usually doesn't fail me, but there's a couple times I'm like 1 card short on soul, but it's usually just revolves around me soul blasting the grade 3 for the cross ride. So there's that to build a little more soul, if I get it. 2 cumin because it's controlled soul charge, under soul charge 1. I usually try not to over soul charge, so that's why they're there, and they're 7Ks. Ciders, they're also for the soul charge on guard if you're at grade 3 only. And for the shenanigan quintet wall to build all the soul if you ever manage to get it, which happens enough to warrant it. I would maybe consider running more of those just for the free auto soul charge at grade 3 though. 2 Ordain Owl because making your Vanguard fat late game is awesome. And you can consistently either swing, if you break ride, you can wait the next turn and Ordain Owl and swing twice, or 2 turns in a row really hard, or you can like split out your Ordain Owls, which kind of has to change your playstyle. You're going to be focusing on healing grade 3s, discarding grade 3s, soul blasting grade 3s. So that's kind of why you got to pay attention when you Ordain Owl if you want to maximize the use of that card. And also, if it ever comes down to it, it might save you from a deck out. And then 2 Melissa. It's just there because if you manage to get them into your soul and you soul blast them, you can either call a booster just for a column you need to make one, or on Minerva you can boost the first attack and then soul blast, counter blast, call behind Vanguard and boost an attack again if you really wanted to push that hard. But yeah, that's what they're for. Depending on how counter blast heavy you get, you can switch those for like more oranges or ciders. And then to the Sentinels, I run 3 Kushinada because perfect guards are perfect guards. And they can help dump your grade 3s. And the 1 Aegis, I forget how to pronounce that word, but she's there for the Quintet Wall play. There's just some moments I really need the Quintet Wall and need to save a card from hand. So I like Quintet Walls at 1 usually for most decks, just for the instances where you might need them. If not, you can just discard them off a perfect guard or call it to rear guard or something, or discard on Minerva's skill if you really had to. It saved my life more than it probably should have in other instances of testing. 4 Jupiter because 12k attackers for the my playstyle are very important. That way I don't have to overcommit to the field if I'm playing against Tempest Bolt or something like Dauntless Reverse. As long as you're not cross-ridden, I can at least have some field presence without worrying about my boosters dying and stuff, because Minerva standing again usually puts enough pressure to warrant having like a 12k attacker, maybe another column if you feel like it. And then 3 Sahohime. I like it at 3 to soul charge, but I mean you could drop it to run other grade 2s, which are pretty helpful in the deck. But early game, Sahohime is one of those cards that might force your opponent to guard, just because they don't want you to build soul for Minerva, if they don't know your build. And then I run 2 grade for the same reason as the grade 1. You can soul blast more to soul charge, but I don't like doing it too much, so I don't always end up using their skill, because I don't want to deck out and lose all my triggers. And then 2 Wish of Ravens for the soul blast call, or if you have the cider, you can guard with the cider and then intercept, and then you can soul charge it again and do it again if you really wanted to. It's another way to retire front row. Like you can attack unboosted with a grade 3 that you want to Ordain Owl, call over it, it'll be in the drop zone, and you have 5k intercept, and you have a column to attack with if you wanted to. So yeah, it's a lot of fun plays with that. And then the grade 3 lineup, 4 Angelica, your break ride. I find that running 4 to maximize for the Ordain Owl is probably pretty optimal, because I usually run 7 grade 3s, but they come in handy for the cross ride, and you can soul charge them, and a lot of other things. And the break ride is kind of nice. It sometimes messes with my soul building that I don't do too much of, but the plus thing usually mitigates that loss. And then to the grade 3s, the 4 Minervas, the special SP right there, borrowing it from a friend for the deck profile, but I'll buy one, probably buying 3 though, but I can't find any right now because it's still new. But yeah, so Minerva, the heart and soul of deck, pretty much the whole reason why Genesis is actually good now. So you can stand again, stack your triggers, and the +5 to itself is really good because you basically are like, unlike Descendant where you're swinging maybe again for 11 on the second attack if you didn't hit a trigger, you're guaranteed hitting 16 to 18 depending on the cross ride or not, which usually comes in handy from hitting extra guard out of their hand if they're forced to guard it. And then, you know, just stacking crits in general is really good. And that's really all I have to say about the deck. See you guys.